Hey everyone, I am in here to talk to you about purging your pantry. Um, this one for me is super important because I want you guys to know and understand about setting your environment to meet your goals. So many, when I talk about people, they talk about, snacking and temptations, and all those things come at you when it comes to, energy and health, and especially, with your weight. So, what's really important is setting up your entire environment to match your goals. So, right now, if you had to look at your pantry and your fridge, is it set up to meet your health goals? Is it set up to meet your family's health goals? Is it set up to meet anyone's health goals? Right. And if you're someone like me, where all of a sudden after holidays and big events and long weekends, and you look at your pantry, you're like, oh man, that candy and those chips and all that snuck right back in here again. um, I'm sure you're all the same, right? So with this one, I really want you guys to take the time to do it. Schedule some time this week. Uh, you can do it with your family, and I'm just going to kind of show you guys here a little bit of what I want you to take a look at. I start with my fridge and then my pantry, and I will tell you sometimes it takes me an hour to get it done, but I set it and I start it and I just go, 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 go. So one of the things that I really want you to do is talk to the people you live with, explain what you're doing, just saying, hey, maybe your fridge, maybe your pantry is a mess and disorganized anyway, so it's a good excuse to get that done. But you can say, I'm really looking at some health goals. Right now, the house is not set up for us to be healthy. So here are some of the things that I'm going to do. I'm going to take out all the expired food. I guarantee you have a ton of expired food in there. I bet you even expired condiments. It's crazy. I just threw away, I don't know how many hundreds of dollars of expired spices I had. You'll go through and you'll do that, but just talk with them. If they want to get involved, let them, right? Have somebody be the tosser and someone to put the food away, or just make it fun and really look at things together to understand what value it has. And so, what I want you to do is grab a bin that you can donate food, stuff that you're feeling like, first of all, it's in there because you haven't touched it, right? Maybe it's just canned food that you got free with your groceries, or thought you try and you never touched it, but those are really great to donate. And then a bin for garbage, because I guarantee you're going to have a lot of expired, old, bad food sitting in the thing, or just some things that you're just going to say, this has got to go. Okay. And so you're going to start with your fridge. And your fridge, you're going to take everything out. Yep. Everything out, because there's things in behind. There's things that you think that you don't have to worry about, but until you touch it and look at it, you won't really know what value it has, as far as, is it even good? Is it expired? Is it something that I really want to keep around? Do I even use it? Right? Is it taking up space and energy in my fridge? And food takes up space and energy. When you open your fridge and it is full of junk and it's messy and it's overwhelming, that's energy it's pulling from you. And a lot of times it's a negative energy, right? So sometimes when it comes to food, to change your relationship with it really means to have it in a manner, when you're exposed to it, that you're not stressing out or feeling overwhelmed or upset, right? Um, so take it all out, right? If you are motivated, get in there and clean it. It is nice to have a clean fridge, right? It is nice. I'm due. I cleaned mine out the other day, but I did not wash it. So I'm feeling like I probably should have. So take everything out if you can. I don't know. I love magic eraser. Take a magic eraser in there and just clean it out so it looks clean. If you have kids like me, there's sticky stuff everywhere. And then before you start putting everything back in, start looking at, grab the ketchup, look at your ketchup label. Is it expired? Is it good? Awesome. Ketchup goes back. Mustard. Oh man, this mustard is expired like 7 months ago. Toss it, put everything back in, but then start to look at it. Like if you have a bunch of, you know, sweet things that you're putting back in from your fridge, and maybe you have a lot of like sugary yogurts or things that you don't do well with, or you haven't, or maybe you had a good intentions, you don't use them, donate them, right? I actually went into my neighborhood page one day and I said, hey, I got a bin of free food, come and grab it. And some people went and came and grab it. I actually purged at one time 7 years ago. My husband and I actually purged out the alcohol out of our house, and that was a huge, neighborhood fun find when they had to come to my house to grab it. But again, that was because we wanted to set up our environment to match our goals. Then, yes, do we have sweets and alcohol back in our house? Absolutely, but we do have it in a very controlled way. So once everything goes back in, right? Maybe you have leftovers you haven't touched, toss them out, clean your Tupperware, put everything back in. And there's going to be that sense of pride. Number one, you did something. And maybe you were like me and you always talk about cleaning out your fridge and you haven't done it. But now I'm making you because it's part of the project here, is really setting it up. So keep what you need, donate what you don't need. Okay. It could be things that you just don't touch, and it could be things that are maybe too tempted for you. So, for example, maybe you have a lot of, let's say, baked goods in your fridge, and things that, cheesecake or whatever it might have. Maybe you or somebody you live with has a work that they could take it to work the next day and say, hey guys, here you go, we just cleaned out our pantry, we cleaned out our fridge, have this, have fun, right? That's a great way to get rid of some of the stuff that you don't need in your fridge and your pantry. And then you're gonna do your pantry, same thing. So the fridge is done, you feel good, you're gonna go in your pantry, you're gonna take everything out. This is a big feat for me. I have to put everything over my island, my counters and my kitchen table. Like, there's so much stuff in my pantry. Even the stuff that's on the floor, I take it out, I sweep it out, and then I put it back and I try to get organized. Like, I put my canned goods, my dry goods, and stuff that I don't want the kids to access, I put up higher. Things that I don't need all the time, I put up higher. We've sometimes had to put things up higher so our dogs don't grab it. I know it sounds silly, but I go through, and the pantry is where I find most of the old expired food. It's where I find Halloween candy, Christmas treats. Valentine's is coming up, and you're going to get loaded with probably Valentine's junk too. And so my kids will bring in a lot of candies and treats from school, from their friends, from holidays, right? And we kind of just throw it in there. But at some point, because we only give them, as they need, I will take that whole bag. If I don't end up donating it for somebody in the neighborhood, I just toss it. And when it comes to candy and junk, I don't feel very guilty throwing it away, because I know if I'm donating it now, I'm just donating more sugar to somebody else, and I really don't want to do that. But I will toss it. Half-eaten Easter bunnies tossed. Like, so I threw away so much Christmas candy right after the holidays. It was crazy how much actually came in. And so if it's not there, you are not tempted. Okay. And so for your kids' treats, if you're somebody like me who was, your kids like goldfish and pretzels and things like that, those are super tempted for me. Right. And so I have to put them in a little bin, and I have to constantly remind myself that they're not for me. And maybe you want to put a red sticker on the stuff that's not for you. Right. But if you find that all of a sudden you've looked at all the treats for your kids that you're tempted in, maybe you've got like gummies and things like that, maybe just reassess the need for them in your home. Right? Reassess the need from your home. We don't keep a lot of treats in our house. What we do is we go to the gas station when when the kid needs a treat, our kids need a treat. So that way we're not, and then we go by gas station sizes, right? Yes, economically, it's probably not super cheap to do it that way, but it reduces the amount in the house, and I'm less tempted. If there's cookies in the house, I'm going to eat them. So we minimize the cookies, right? We baked cookies last night. I baked 8 cookies. That's it. I put the dough in the freezer, because I knew if I baked them all, they would have been all gone. So I wanted to control it. So things like that will help you control um, your environment when it comes to nutrition. Take a look at the labels, look at the sugar content. Right now that you guys are logging food, you're going to understand now um, a little bit about the nutrients, right? Look at where the high sugar is. Start reading your labels. Like, does it have a bunch of artificial junk in it? Start to make the decision if you really want to keep that, right? I had a syrup. There was a 0-calorie syrup in my pantry. This was years ago. And I'm like, oh, this is so awesome. It tastes so good. This syrup is amazing. And then when I did a pantry purge one day, I looked at the syrup and I'm like, oh, this is not syrup. This is like chemical filled goo that just happens to taste good because it was so full of artificial flavors, artificial sweeteners. There were things in there that I'm sure was some type of chemical in order to keep it that way. And I tossed it, because even though it was a 0 calories and it was helping me fit my macros, what it was doing is it was creating more toxins in my body. And I didn't want to do that either. Okay. And so this is how simple this project's going to be. Yes, it's going to take a little while. Very, very important, guys, very important that it gets done, because if you find that you're constantly, grabbing something that you shouldn't grab, is because your environment is not conducive to what you're looking for. Okay. And if it's for the kids' snacks and they need them because kids are kids and they need them, find a way to manage it. Okay, find a way to maybe put a red X, tell the family, hey, these are yours. Don't let me touch these. Okay, don't let me touch these. So I hope this was helpful, guys. Enjoy, make this fun. When you are done, you're going to feel so proud because not only now is your environment match your goals, that you did something productive, because sometimes pride just comes from doing something, starting something and finishing something. So good luck, guys. Let me know. Take some before and after pictures. I love the before and after pictures of this because it's such a huge realization of how much crap we have in our pantry and our fridge. Okay, enjoy. Let me see them.